Niranjan Hiranandani joins in the show right now. Mr. Hiranandani, morning. Good to have you on the show. First, a word on the extension of the lockdown in Maharashtra up until the month end. Does that really put a spanner in the works? Were you all gearing up in any case to begin construction sites after the 21-day national lockdown?
Obviously, the Dil Mange More, we always want the health scene to be settled yesterday. But I think there was a thing in our mind that it could be extended. However, three things have happened. Number one is that transport is fully opened out for the purposes of goods. And that, though it has got initial hiccups, I think by the mid of this week, coming week, we should have the transport operations in line. A large number of truck drivers, etc., were just not available. And the places you wanted the trucks, you couldn't get them, especially in the ports. Number two, we have had meetings with the Home Ministry. We have had meetings with the Commerce Ministry, the Prime Minister's office, and the Finance Minister. And the entire direction is that factories and construction will be allowed to be started in a phase-wide manner, subject to conditions, subject to safe distancing, subject to looking after the labor, keeping temperatures regularly, and doing all that is necessary in order to contain the problem of coronavirus. This recommendation has gone on Saturday evening to the Home Ministry, and we are expecting that by today or at the most tomorrow morning, we should be getting a green signal in terms of starting all the segments, of course, in a phase-wise manner. We don't expect everything to start tomorrow morning, but the main idea being that those workers who are already locked down in the sites where the work is going on, number one. Number two, especially the workforce which is already there in the factories or next to it, all this is treated to be phase one. Number two, the essential works like municipal corporations, essential work for the monsoon, the railways, all these activities are expected to start. Some of them have started last week with the migrant workers who are already on the site. So my view is that in the next 7 to 10 days, construction activity, again, I repeat, phase-wise manner, not in every location, not in every place, not in order to create migration of workers again or in a manner, is intended to be started with all precautions to be taken. It's a correct decision, and we are looking for it for quite some time.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. While it seems obvious that when it comes to construction sites or real estate as a sector, the first phase is obviously going to be workers who are locked in on the sites already. But what about the migrant laborers? Because that for big cities like Delhi as well as even in Maharashtra was a big issue. So what happens? I mean, how is it that you mitigate this labor issue? Because most of them have already fled to their own native states.
Construction takes up 15% the workforce of India. It's a huge amount. Now, the idea was that those who are already there and have not moved out to the villages, or those people should be started to give the work first. And that's the most important factor. Second, a large number of people were required for agricultural operations during the harvest season and the planting of the crops. So I think that's the second part of it. We don't want the migrant workers who have already gone to the villages to rush back. So the first phase of activity, probably for the next 10 to 15 days, will stick to those workmen who are already in the cities, in the places or in the nearby areas, and also near the factories and other places. So that is priority number one. Priority number two would be probably after the lockdown is lifted for the migrants' laborers to actually come back. I think any movement of migrant
Yeah. Okay, we seem to have snapped that line. with Mr. Hiranandani, I can't seem to hear him. Okay. That's the word really coming in on the extension of the lockdown and the fact that the government may be actually looking at lifting the lockdown when it comes to certain segments of the economy, factories, transport, construction sites, or for that matter, some of the SMEs as well, but in a phased manner. So Mr. Hiranandani is saying and confirming that he also is hearing the same things along the same lines.